Grace to you and peace from God our Father, from our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen. We hear again from the gospel just read where Jesus says, I am the living bread that came down from heaven. If anyone eats of this bread, he will live forever. This bread is my flesh, which I will give for the life of the world. Now this is part of the bread of life discourse, John chapter 6, where Jesus talks extensively about himself being food. He scares off all but 12 of his disciples when he says he had 70 disciples following him, and he turned one day and he says, unless you gentlemen eat of my flesh and drink of my blood, you have no part with me. That was gross. All but 12 left in disgust. The 12 remaining, he said, well, you guys going to leave too? I said, Lord, to whom shall we go? You have the words of eternal life. In other words, we don't understand. But Lord, we know you have the words of eternal life. This mystery called the Lord's Supper. Simple bread and wine, and yet Christ's body and blood, both and described in Scripture as a mystery. It's not, and a mystery by definition is not something you explain. It's something you can't explain. Going back, and you look at the epistle lesson, and St. Paul talking about the church in Ephesus, about the importance of changing our lifestyle as Christians, as disciples of Christ, changing how we live from serving ourselves to thinking of God and others. Well, everybody wants to do this. Everybody wants to be better. In every religion, well, almost every religion, you've got the Wicca and Satanists and Druids. They teach, be true to yourself. Do as you please. Just try not to hurt too many people. But most of the other religions say, be nice to others. Be good. Duh. We all want to be good, but we're not. How do I change, Lord? Do I go and hear a preacher tongue flog me every Sunday about how I should be better, and maybe that'll make me feel like being better? Maybe God does the changing, and he uses this mystery called the Lord's Supper to transform and change us. These transfusions of his grace, if you will, that happen on a weekly basis that continue a transformation begun at our baptism. I've known people that try with all their might to be good. We all struggle. And the great saints in the Bible struggled with being good. None of them were perfect, and there's dirt on all of them in Scripture. How does this transformation take place? And here in the Lord's Supper, in this mystery that God gave the church, along with the mystery of Holy Baptism, the other mysteries, that transformation, God begins a transformation that continues throughout our life. And here Jesus saying, he was the bread that came down from heaven, hearkening back to the manna that God gave the Israelites to sustain them in their wilderness journeys. Jesus gives himself to us to sustain us in this wilderness journey, this side of glory. It's amazing, as we give up and let God change our life, the transformation that can take place. We can try with all of our might, and God says, go ahead and try. And like 2-year-olds, he lets us try, and then we finally get to that point where we say that most humbling 4-letter word, help. Help. It's hard for us grown-up 2-year-olds to say that. And God, help me. Good, my child. Good. Now I can begin to transform and change. When we give up and ask him for help, He continues this transformation. As long as we're willing to try and do it on our own, He'll let us go full tilt at it. And but finally we get to that point where we say, I can't. And I need your help, Lord. And that's when God can step in and transform and change us. And He uses these things that just blow the mind. That throughout Scripture, there's the creation that God spoke and the world came into existence. One of the best, the best physicist of our time, Einstein, believed there was a creator God. He could see this in physics. There was too much. It made too much sense. It was too logical. It was too orderly. Einstein believed there was a creator God, but he had a hard time believing that creator God would care enough about him to come down to earth and die on the cross for his sins. He was called, I'm not sure he called himself, but he would be a functional deist. He believed there was a creator God, but denied that Jesus was God in human flesh. But there's that mystery of the creation, how this world came into existence and suddenly, and science and Scripture both say the same thing. It happened suddenly. And there's tremendous order, logic injected into this whole process. And then, as John says in the beginning of his gospel, that word active in creation that proceeded from the Father, became flesh and dwelt among us in the person of Jesus. These great mysteries, the mystery of creation, the mystery of the incarnation. And it was interesting that Jesus was born of all places, and we think nothing of it, Bethlehem. Well, that's two Hebrew words, Beit meaning house, and Lechem meaning bread. It's house of bread. It was in the barley growing region where the flour came to make bread all over Israel. That's where the bread of life was born. Bethlehem, the city of David, the house of bread. And he comes to us in such an ordinary way, ordinary water combined with that extraordinary creating word in holy baptism, ordinary bread and wine in his Holy Supper combined with that same creating word. It doesn't make sense, and it didn't to the Jews. This is crazy talk. How can we wrap our heads around it? And the answer is you don't. You don't wrap your head around it. That's a faith thing. We simply say amen as disciples, as Christians. We don't have a problem with doctors. Doctors can transplant organs from other people into us or into other people. That's, it happens all the time, probably on a daily, for sure on a daily basis throughout the country. Hearts and livers being transplanted, or taking blood out of another person and injecting it into us or someone else. No big deal. It's just a needle and then pull it out and put it in somebody else. No big deal. That Jesus could come to us and with and under the bread and wine and his Holy Supper. Just a second. I can't understand that. That's okay. Again, that's a faith thing. God uses the strangest ways to transform and change us, and he continues to do so. Word and sacrament throughout our lives. As we give up the steering wheel and say that most humble of all words, help, O Lord, and then come to the altar with their hands held out as beggars to receive his gifts. Gift of himself to us, and with and under the bread and wine, his Holy Supper. May God continue to transform and change us as his disciples. As he works in mysterious ways, mysterious means to do so, we see that transformation taking place in our lives. Amen. Now may the peace of God, which passes all human understanding, keep your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus, life everlasting.